Well, there's a lot fewer rainbows flying in Ontario this year. As many of you know, we've advanced Pride Day and trans and LGBTQ from a day to a week to a month, and now it's a season. But people are fighting back. You'll want to listen in to this episode as we talk about how people are winning in this war and this attack on our families and our children. I'm joined today by Mr. Ian Visible. He's a political operative for a long time, often with conservative causes and conservative politics, but not exclusively so. He's going to remain off camera today so that he can continue to inform us and know what's going on without retribution from his political affiliations and employers. So, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
In the last month, quite a sea change is underway. We've had 3 municipalities in Ontario pass resolutions that have banned flying of the trans and pride flags, the rainbow flags. We've also had a school board. And so we've had South Huron, Exeter, and Norwich, which I believe was the first, who, at the behest of their residents, passed a resolution that the pride flag will not fly at their municipalities. And what do we have to say about that?
Well, quite frankly, I think we should be celebrating these decisions. The reality is that we have all-inclusive flags. There are Canadian flag, our provincial flag, and for municipalities that have a municipal flag, those represent all of the citizens. The pride flag is exclusionary. It actually does not include all of the citizens. And for the municipality to be discluding some of its citizens is unjust.
Yeah. And looking at citizens only through a sexual lens, an objectifying lens that objectifies people when you look at people only through their sexual orientation.
And this is something that we're teaching our children in school now, that their sexual orientation and their sexuality is the most important part of their personality, and that they need to be focused on developing that in whichever direction they're being coerced into, in order to have to fulfill the greater agenda, which is the attack on the family and an attack on our children. Yeah. And that's what that flag represents, and I think that's why parents are so much objecting to it.
Yeah. Well, it is. The Canadian flag, the provincial flag, they represent everyone.
That's right.
It does not exclude anyone.
That's exactly right.
So good on Huron South, Exeter, and Norwich, but also the York District School Board. And this is the first time I believe that we've seen a school board also pass a resolution at the request of parents to ban the flying of the pride flag at their schools. And this is interesting because, of course, Josh Alexander was barred and arrested. He's a student at the Renfrew District Catholic School Board for having that same belief that there's only 2 sexes and that God made man and a woman, and that's a biological fact. He was not only expelled from school for the entire year, but also arrested.
Well, and Josh Alexander is just one example of the militancy that we're starting to see from the Rainbow Coalition. He was assaulted, but he was the one that was arrested.
Yeah.
And I believe there was a councillor in Chatham-Kent that received a death threat for forwarding a motion to council. These are attacks on our freedom of expression, and in the case of the Catholic Church, freedom of religion. They do not have to endorse something that doesn't comply with their faith. They shouldn't be compelled to endorse something that doesn't comply with their faith. I thought that was protected in our Constitution, but apparently others feel otherwise.
Yeah.
And again, this rising militancy to tell our children that it's justified to silence people, to oppress people because they don't share the views of the Rainbow Coalition, we're teaching our young people the wrong lesson.
And to actually be engaged in physical violence with people who do not share their views.
Exactly right.
This is not a group of peace-loving, tolerant individuals. This is a group of people that have a very strong hate on for anyone who doesn't not only accept, but essentially you have to promote, adopt, and embrace this this very perverted and distorted view that people should only be measured by their sexuality, and that the affirmation, the indoctrination, the sterilization, and medical interventions on young children should be extolled as a virtue. Well, listen, there was one other element also in Huron County. The county has banned a proposal by the paramedic service that would have had pride flag shoulder patches sewn on their uniforms in Huron County.
Yeah, it's very interesting, both with the pride flags at our municipal town halls, and this the putting the rainbow flag on a paramedic. These are public services. They're not supposed to be exclusionary. The Ontario Integrity Commissioner, who has oversight on provincial members of Parliament, absolutely frowns upon elected members endorsing any ideology or charity that might exclude others. Yeah. It's very much frowned upon, and MPPs can be sanctioned for it.
Well, not only we are not allowed, in my time in the legislature, we are not allowed, we are prohibited from wearing or showing any political or partisan or ideological clothing unless we get unanimous consent from all other members in the legislature. And here I'm very thankful to the people, the councillors at Huron County, who have stood their ground and have fought back as well. So we'll end this off. You can do things. There are benefits. There is value. But you have to get up off the couch. You have to go to your municipal governments. You've got to request that they introduce a resolution. Encourage your local councillors to support those initiatives. In of course, your school boards as well.
Yes, indeed.
And I'll be out on June 9th for the Parents' Rights Day of Action in Ottawa on Broadview Avenue. So there's more details will be on the Parents' Rights Day of Action website. I understand Josh Alexander will be there as well as, and of course Billboard Chris, who has been championing and fighting back against this war on our children and our families. I understand there will be many more of those events around the province and around the country. But I hope to see you out in Ottawa on June 9th, and maybe we'll see you there as well.
You just may.
You just may. Hey, thanks for joining with us today. See you out on June 9th. If you like this video, share it around. Hit the notifications, like, and let's take action and fight for our families and our children. And if you want to book a little time up the camp, go to nomorolockdowns.ca and book a getaway from the madness of this world.